The air holds its breath, as if even the birds know that human thunder approaches with hungry rotors and unfinished prayers. Their engines write harsh scripture across the valley, promising arrival, danger, and the fragile mathematics of hope measured in miles. No one speaks because words might crack. Silence is stronger than courage when fear kneels beside your boots. He counts breaths instead of miles, steering a thin line between cloud and catastrophe with practiced, stubborn calm. The jungle looks endless from above, but each leaf holds a secret that could end a life. The water remembers everything it has taken, and it whispers to us to look away. He traces her smile with a gloved thumb, building a tiny fortress against the coming roar. The ground clutches our ankles like memory, unwilling to release what it already suspects is borrowed time. Every shadow holds a question we cannot answer, and our rifles speak in brief, hard syllables. We carry our weapons like candles, trying not to drown the last bright promise of return. Direction wavers where maps turn to myth, and courage substitutes for certainty one step at a time. The jungle coughs fire back into our mouths, and time shrinks to a single, stubborn heartbeat. We run not away or toward, but through the question of whether luck remembers our names. Mercy is a hurried craft here, stitched with rain, grit, and the soft insistence of survival. Beauty trespasses on violence. For a blink the sky forgets which lights are killing and which are stars. His words swim upstream against chaos, carrying coordinates and hope like fragile fish through iron water. The storm is older than our quarrels, and it baptizes us without preference or pity. Names weigh more than steel tonight. They chime like bells that no one hears in time. Home detaches from earth and becomes footsteps, a line of quiet hearts moving toward uncertainty. Smoke writes a brief letter to the dark, then folds itself into nothing, like promises here. Each step is a treaty with mud and time, negotiated in grunts and careful breaths. In the sudden honesty of light, everyone looks exhausted, human, and equally breakable. He squeezes not from anger, but from the aching animal desire to keep breathing. The world dissolves into water and willpower. Footing is faith disguised as muscle. He writes to a future where he exists, folding his name into tomorrow like currency. The forest speaks a language of cracks and breaths, and we answer with caution. Lines on paper tempt us with certainty, a luxury we cannot afford but still rent nightly. We count the drops because numbers feel truer than prayers in weather like this. Even the smallest hungers travel with us, tireless and unimpressed by our uniforms. From high above, the war pretends to be orderly. Up close, it is only breath and breaking. Darkness breathes like an animal. We enter its lungs with flashlights and careful courage. We draw geometry against chaos, hoping straight edges can convince fate to land. The horizon is a bruise of purple. We pass through it quietly, refusing to bleed aloud. He sows flesh to future, knotted with stubbornness and the soft, relentless rhythm of care. Somewhere devotion still sits among the stones, patient as moss and twice as faithful. Command is a damp room where decisions sweat, then march out wearing our faces. Each dent is a biography. Each strap smells like fear kept on a leash. Kindness arrives without trumpet, small and steaming, and leaves the throat gentler. The wind tries to rearrange what happened, but the ground remembers without words. Time keeps its bargain with no one, counting in stubborn circles while we bargain straight lines. He steadies the world with breath, shrinking fate to a hair-thin cross. We throw light to confuse the darkness, as if bright lies could buy a safe minute. War leans close to listen. Her words smell of rice, smoke, and stubborn survival. We polish names because that is how we keep the faces from fading first. The earth becomes a nervous instrument, waiting to sing a harsh, protective chord. Flame bows to rain, rises again like faith, repeating itself until it sticks. The hill climbs us back, and we answer with thighs, curses, and the stubborn grammar of assent. Leadership is a borrowed calm. He lends it out in brief, priceless touches. The jungle speaks in needles of light. Our replies are louder but less certain. Pain returns a man to himself, then offers him back to his friends alive. Weather chooses no flag, it crowns and drowns with equal, ancient patience. Sweetness becomes sacrament, a fragile proof that gentleness still lives in our mouths. We write the world smaller so we can cross it before fear catches up. Salvation wears a rotor whoosh and the smell of fuel, asking only that we hold on. Trust transfers without ceremony. A glance signs the papers of survival. Ancient lives regard our frenzy like weather and continue, heavy and wise. He prays not for victory, but for the grace to remember each name gently. Our answers arc into clouds, searching for questions they were built to silence. Repair is our quiet rebellion against mud, fear, and the mathematics of loss. The horizon blushes like a bruise, our shadows lengthen into history none of us asked to write. When the jungle sings too clearly, every note sounds like footsteps with teeth. Water tastes of metal and consequence. We drink anyway, toasting the next breath. He burrows her voice to steady his own, wrapping his heart in familiar vowels. The path is a wound that never closes, stitched and reopened by tires daily. For one heartbeat, beauty refuses to move, proving the world remembers gentleness despite us. We become moving lanterns of breath, flickering along the trail toward whatever waits. Every ascent is a brief argument with gravity that ends in compromise and mud. He sings to the frightened child inside himself, smuggling calm past his ribs. The sky rehearses dawn early, practicing how to forgive what night has done. We share what keeps us alive and call it communion without saying the word. The jungle edits our presence quickly, replacing footsteps with anonymity and steam. We circle scars that look small from above, forgetting how deep they run below. A melody crosses lines and uniforms, reminding us we were boys before steel. Relief arrives on a thin needle, asking nothing except permission to stay briefly. Traps wait with patient elegance, even danger likes to look beautiful sometimes. Heat in a bowl becomes a treaty with exhaustion, signed by spoons and gratitude. He marks himself with hope, a small constellation to navigate the dark. Silence gathers around them, heavy as rain, careful as folded flags without ceremony. The field exhales our wounded upward, surrendering them to a sky that might be kinder. A single light insists on being seen, stubborn as breath in a chest. He talks softly to the metal, promising it an end and us a passage. Courage is sometimes only the discipline of seconds and the refusal to flinch. We cut the road behind us, choosing forward because backward no longer exists. Faith is arithmetic tonight. He adds hope to fear and asks for balance. We burrow the jungle's skin, praying it will mistake us for its own. He fights the weather more than men, learning patience from the rain itself. The world expands and hurts, beauty returns with a blade tucked behind its back. Wisdom passes quietly from scar to palm, a lesson signed in recoil. We patch what carries us, because the road won't pity bare feet. The air tastes of metal and ceremony, even engines hush around such company. Laughter steps lightly over rubble, a small bridge we cross without papers. The ground accepts everything, shells, bones, and Hopan somehow grows green again. We move like rumors between mountains, trying not to wake what listens. We label what feeds our rifles, daring the world to forget who carried them. He sends the words ahead, trusting someone will read them where the noise stops. Departure tastes like ash and honey. We swallow both and keep moving. We leave gently where we once arrived loud, apologizing to the ground in whispers. He folds the day shut, accepting its pages of loss and the margin notes of mercy. The jungle exhales us like smoke. Our shadows slide away toward an uncertain quiet. We leave with hearts heavier and eyes wider, carrying the small, stubborn ember that tomorrow might choose tenderness.